Danny's Easter with the Easter Bunny at Wellington Country Park. Susie had a new teacher, Miss Blackburn, who had just moved to Wirham from Manchester. Miss Blackburn had lots of fun ideas, and Susie was telling her friend Danny all about Miss Blackburn's latest plan. "We're going to have an egg race, Danny," she said excitedly. "We're going to roll Easter eggs down the hill, and whoever's first gets to the bottom will win a giant Easter egg." "Down my hill?" said Danny, looking worried. He didn't know what an Easter egg was, but was too concerned about having lots of people near his cave to ask. "Oh," said Susie, suddenly realising why Danny was worried. "She doesn't know about you." No one officially knew about Danny, who was a dragon by the way, but centuries of rumours about monsters living in the caves at the top of the hill and the regular strange noises and flashes of fires meant that people in nearby village of Wirham kept well away. Everyone apart from Susie, of course, who was a brave little girl and loved her best friend Danny. Danny's proper name is Dan Il Gan Ogayan, but as that was too difficult for Susie to say, she simply called him Danny, and together they had so many adventures. She said, "I know, we'll hide the entrance of your cave and no one will know you're there." So over the next few days, Danny gathered branches and piled up rocks in front of his cave. On the evening before the great egg race, Susie pushed leaves and moss into any spaces, leaving just one small gap that Danny could look out of and watch the fun. Happy that no one could see him now, Danny curled up and fell into a nice deep sleep. Danny was abruptly woken the next day by a lot of noise and peered out through the gap to see several small children running around excitedly outside his cave. A tall young lady with colourful hair was trying in vain to get the children to line their eggs up behind a piece of string stretched across the top of the hill. One little boy, who Danny recognised as Susie's friend Jack, was throwing his egg up in the air and catching it. He threw it up again and it slipped out of his hands and rolled towards the cave, getting tangled up in the branches blocking the entrance. Jack rushed to grab it, but as he straightened up, he looked straight through Danny's spy hole, right into his big green dragon eye. Jack screamed, "Ah!" dropped the egg and fell backwards, and then somersaulted feet overhead towards the top of the hill and towards the row of eggs now lined up ready for the race. He tried to stop himself, and the somersault turned into a sideways roll, knocking the eggs in all directions. Jack continued to roll over, and the steep hill going faster and faster, the eggs rolling down with him. Some eggs bounced over him before getting squashed as he rolled over them, and the others shot off in all directions. The children ran after Jack, laughing and shouting, before throwing themselves into a roll alongside him. They all ended up in a tangled mess of arms and legs and smashed eggs at the bottom of the hill. Miss Blackburn was laughing too hard to do anything at first, but eventually, after the children and after checking that no one was hurt, she helped them all up and took them back to school. Once the coast was clear, Danny pushed aside the barricade and came out of the cave. All seemed very quiet after the chaos of the children, and he looked around and breathed a sigh of relief. He was watching the rabbits playing on the hillside when he saw something shiny snagged in the pile of wood and rocks outside of the cave. Pushing the branches carefully aside, Danny was surprised to find a large silver egg. The egg, this size that he had seen before, was pink and gold, which had hatched into his cousin, Ambrose. Danny clearly remembered his aunt telling him it was important to keep an egg warm. So he gently took the silver egg into the cave and lit a small fire. He then curled up around the egg and fell asleep. When Danny awoke, it was dark and the fire had gone out. He felt around for an egg, but all he could find was some crinkly paper. He sent a quick blast of flame into a pile of wood, and by the firelight he could see he was lying in a brown puddle. He tried to rub the sticky mess off of his belly and got it all over his claws. He started to lick it off and then discovered, for the first time in his life, the delicious taste of chocolate. For the rest of the night, Danny tied himself almost in knots, trying to lick every last bit of chocolate off of his belly. Join us next time for part 2 of Danny's Easter with the Easter Bunny.